I come from a country where Christmas is celebrated as early as September. It's the most anticipated event of the year, and it's hard to miss it because the streets are decorated with big, colorful parole lanterns and Christmas songs play non-stop. It's loud, it's crowded, it's bright, it's unapologetically, unabashedly merry. And then there's Japan, where Christmas can be pretty much summed up with chicken, chicken, chicken. Okay, I exaggerate. Yes, there are pretty lights, there are Christmas markets and couple events here and there that you can attend, but nowhere does it come as nearly celebrated as it is in my home country. And if you've spent Christmas here, I'm willing to bet that at one point or another, you've thought that Christmas here pretty much sucks. In my 9 years in Japan, there have been several times when I've found it difficult to cope with the holiday blues. But surprisingly, 2020 is not one of them. I know, puzzling, right? But I think I know why, and I've narrowed it down to 4 things that have made significant changes in my life, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. My name is Mizhelle, you're watching Tokyo Past 3, and this is how not to feel lonely during Christmas season in Japan. Tip number 1 is recognize that Christmas is an over-commercialized holiday. From a very young age, we pick up the message that Christmas is supposed to be this magical time. From Hallmark holiday movies to lengthy product ads on TV, the underlying message is that Christmas makes everything perfectly okay, no matter what circumstances you are in prior to the holidays. Now, I'm all for adding a dash of enchantment to our daily lives, but the problem with over-commercialized holidays is that we're stuck with an ideal that reality will never compare to. I mean, think of the past Christmases that you've spent. Was it ever really like the movies or the commercials? I mean, I've had great Christmases with my family. Most of them are okay, and some of them are bad. At the end of it all, it's just really another day. When we put too much pressure on ourselves thinking, oh, this day has to be perfect, or I really have to be happy during Christmas, we are setting ourselves up to fail. Good things, great things happen even if it isn't Christmas, and we certainly don't need a deadline for when to be happy or have a fixed image of what happiness looks like. If you let go of all the shoulds and musts and just appreciate the day for how it unfolds, you'll feel a huge difference. Tip number 2, write a list of what's making you blue and think of counter steps for each. Any problem-solving process begins with identifying the problem. When I find that my feelings are preventing me from doing anything productive, I make it a point to sort them out first. Think of your heart or your brain as your hard drive, and if there's too much clutter, it's not going to function well, so you have to empty that recycle bin or clear that cache, and that has to be priority number 1. Here's how I like to approach the process. First, I take out a pen and paper or open an Excel sheet and have 2 columns ready. On the first column, I write down all the things that's bothering me. And on the second, I write at least 1 or 2 steps that I can take to alleviate the situation. Doing this helps you in at least 2 ways. When you write down what's bothering you, it helps you process your emotions better and understand what you're going through. And when you write counter steps for each, you're taking an active approach to solving the problem, and you realize, hey, this is not so bad, there's actually something I can do about it. For example, if what you wrote down on column A is that you're lonely because you don't get to spend Christmas with your family, then one countermeasure for that may be giving them a daily 5-minute video call. It may not be face-to-face, but a 5-minute video call is definitely better than 5 minutes of moping around because you're all alone in your small apartment, right? If you think about it, we all encounter problems in our everyday lives, and we continuously find solutions to them, which is why I believe you're creative enough to find at least one thing that would make you feel better today. It doesn't have to be anything grand. Remember, there's really no such thing as a cure-all. But making today a little bit better than yesterday is certainly achievable, and these little bits and pieces that you do, over time they accumulate and help you feel better in the long run. Tip number 3, ask yourself, what is it about Christmas that I like, and how can I apply it to my current situation? If it's giving presents, then there's definitely no one stopping you from doing that. Even if you can't meet people face to face, you can always order online and have things delivered to your loved one's doorsteps. If it's the food that you enjoy, you can try your hand at making them, or if it's the crappy movies, then go ahead and watch a bunch of them. Just remember, they probably won't be exactly the same as the original because you're in a different environment, but they don't necessarily have to be worse. The goal is not to replicate because they probably won't match up to the original, but rather it's to adapt what's good and perhaps even invent new traditions. And my last tip is probably the most important one, and it's to find small joys in the everyday. Like I mentioned earlier, good things don't have to happen on Christmas alone. In fact, good things happen every day. Sometimes we're just too focused on the bad to notice them. On my worst days, the practice that really helps me is writing down 5 things that I'm thankful for that specific day. Again, it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something as simple as having chocolate in the fridge or a friend sending a funny meme. You see, when you have something that you look forward to every day, even if it's just a small thing, it'll help you realize that you don't really need this one big culminating event to turn things around. Christmas, after all, won't make you miraculously happy if you were miserable to begin with. Rather, it's recognizing the good things in your life that make a difference, and it's one of the best presents that you can give yourself. So those are my 4 tips on how you can cope with the holiday blues here in Japan or wherever you may be. I really hope they have been helpful because I know what it's like to be miserable during the holidays, and it's never really a good state to be in. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and that will definitely make my day, and share it among friends who might need these tips. I make videos about travel and lifestyle in Japan, and if you're interested, you can check out my other content on whichever platform you're watching this on. And you can also subscribe. That will also make me happy. This has been Mizhelle for Tokyo Fast 3. I'll see you in the next video. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, bye! I'm like this because it took me such a long time to record this video. Bye!